Good morning to the world. My name is Dairuku Sutane, and I am a bit of a fool. I am a fool because every now and then I am reminded that something that I have long believed to be the correct way to do things is in fact wholly incorrect and therefore wrong. It is actually quite difficult to cope with that fact at times. Perhaps because, in this case, I find myself continually using power blocks incorrectly, even now. Although, in the recent weeks, I've been mulling it over as to why I continually do so, even though I know about my little snafu. Thankfully, in my quest to justify my incorrectness, I have actually come up with a few reasons. A small smokescreen to serve as a way to hide myself from the accusations that will inevitably come my way when this video comes out. But before I get into those reasons, I should probably actually take some time to explain to you very fine people what I am doing wrong, since I may as well just be speaking Greek to you otherwise. It all started when I began to do my full playthrough live streams, 10 to 13 hour long slogs where I often lose my mind due to the exhaustion of it all. It was here that people began to notice that I don't actually bother to use leverage at all. Instead, I focused on simply protectorating other countries and drawing them into my power block that way. Multiple coy comments were made on the subject matter, so naturally, being the pushover that I am, I started to incorporate some leverage-based invitations to small countries that didn't push up the mandate whatsoever. In fact, I found it almost downright impossible to invite minor nations to your power block due to how horrible the leverage system seemed to work. It seems at the end of the day, prestige plays a very big part of the leverage system, and major powers, when they're just starting out with their power blocks, simply do not have enough prestige to really drive up the leverage system enough. You can do a buttload of treaties, but that is very expensive overall, and sadly, in the current patch of 197, it's not very effective. Leverage goes up slow. Painfully so. Maybe I'm just an impatient man at the end of the day, unwilling to wait for good things to happen. Albeit, I find it to be a bit of an oxymoron to be known as an impatient man who happens to play a slow game like Victoria 3. Then, when I brought up the impossibility of drawing in minor powers, the people started talking about how I should just join another power block and take it over instead. So, foolishly, I joined the British power block, and when I got close to Britain in prestige, they kicked me out unceremoniously, forcing me to pick up the pieces without any of the power block bonuses. Not to mention no more access to the British market. That was a lot of fun. And then there's joining Russia. Russia forcefully protectorated me. The Ottomans, meanwhile, they actually lost their power block completely by ending up as a regional power instead of a major power, and inexplicably, I didn't get control of the power block because it disappeared long before the 12-month-long power struggle could end, so that was a wash. Then there's the pitiful French and USA power blocks, or I guess Sardinia Piedmont, Netherlands, Belgium, or the myriad of other minor major countries out there that actually decide to make their own power block at the 50-year mark. I'd rather just start my own. You guys don't even bother to invite any of the other countries, and it's not like there's a huge amount of countries out there really left to actually invite who can actually affect the mandate scores anyways. So who does that leave? Well, Prussia and Austria. There's just one tiny problem. Good luck joining them if you aren't already a German or Italian minor. Not only will they have huge malices towards you when you ask to join, but getting the leverage needed is almost impossible anyways. What the heck happened to power blocks in 1.9? What the heck happened to leverage in 1.9? Why were they so heavily overlooked that the only way to play them now is to turn them into a gamified system where you literally have to protectorate Indochina and South America to get anywhere with it? Even if you join France and the United States, you're still going to need to protectorate Indochina and South America because they don't even bother to invite anybody else. At this point, why does leverage even still exist? If Austria literally has a thumbs up on the icon saying they gleefully let me join them, why can't I join simply because they only have 96 leverage against me? Do I literally have to gimp myself by taking every law imaginable that reduces leverage resistance? Do I have to destroy my prestige for a few years? Do I have to pay through the nose to get every treaty necessary to increase how much leverage Austria has on me? And even if I do that, there's still a chance that it's not going to work? I've been very critical in the past about a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever been so critical as to come off as spiteful. Yet, here we are. I fear this might come off as spiteful, and, unfortunately, I don't actually care anymore. Leverage is an outdated mechanic, and it needs to be removed. It doesn't do anything except hurt the player if they pick a small country, and it destroys new power blocks for France, USA, Belgium, Netherlands, everyone. If you get into the game late, you're junk. And the only way past it is protectorating. In all honesty, it has actually been this way since 1.7, and it hasn't changed since. If both parties want to participate, the existence of some arbitrary number that in some cases is impossible to increase for countries with too high a prestige should not prevent that from happening, and yet it still does. At this point, I think it should just serve as a modifier in the far more superior treaty system. Minus 200 leverage should require 200 or more treaty points to overcome, making the process more expensive. Meanwhile, even plus 30 leverage, which isn't impossible to get, mind you, would serve to act as a plus 3 modifier to join the power block in a treaty action. 1/10 of the return, but still a return to make it possible. If you're worried about people just joining a power block to take it over right away, you could just make a handicap modifier that says you are too powerful for us to control in the treaty system. Of course, something like that shouldn't be possible for a minor power or below trying to join, yet it certainly feels that way now, even if you have free trade and right of assembly passed. If you're worried about people who are actually good at handling leverage properly from overtaking the world without firing a single shot, you could just add progressively harder modifiers to each newly acquired country, or you could just add progressively harder modifiers the higher a power block's rank becomes. Of course, you don't really have to make changes. I'm just some random whelp on the internet who likes to pretend that he knows what he's talking about. It might just be best to ignore me and keep on keeping on. Although, that means I'm going to do the same. In the current power block system, I see nothing but a broken and easily gamified system that can effectively be bypassed by protectorating all of South America and Indochina. Others can call it cheese if they want to, but at this point, I don't care. I'll do everything in my power to bypass the leverage system if I can. I am more than content with doing it the wrong way if it gets me the right results that I desire. I love power blocks and the power block mandates. I spend far too much time mulling over the wonderful bonuses that they provide, and I have come up with my own system of when to take which power blocks for every situation that I run into. I just really hate leverage. It's bad. I think it's always been bad, but now it is really, really bad. It was a little more manageable back in 1.8 and before, since you could just throw treaties at the AI and take over a large portion of their economy to make them dependent, but in 1.9, I can't help but feel it's a forgotten relic from the past that should have been left at the gates, because treaties now cost you an arm and a leg to pass. Even then, with other countries fully economically dependent on you, I found that without access to embassies in general, you aren't getting anywhere. If they pass protectionism, closed borders, or censorship, good luck getting them into your power block. If you're stuck with any of those laws yourself and you're looking to join a power block, well, I hate to break it to you, but this means that even the sovereign empires don't want you half the time, and they're supposed to want you all the time. It's literally their modus operandi. Back in 1.8 and earlier, I used to be able to come up with strategies based around joining power blocks. Now, I just tell people to make their own and protectorate South America. What a joke it's become. Maybe with the assumed release of the Austria DLC coming up and in 2.0 we can expect a rework of the system, or maybe I'm just wrong and I need to stop caring about doing things the wrong way for the right result. Either way, poor Argentina, they've become the new Gaza in all of my games. Anyhow, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. I hope you still enjoy playing Victoria 3 in spite of it. Life comes at you fast, so make sure to hug someone you care about today. Beyond that, thank you for watching this far. You guys are kings. Hail Hydra Cat.